everybody. Welcome to our hopefully first of many episodes of a podcast that I've been working on for God knows how long. It's basically, or I'm going to do interviews of other streamers, content creators, and whatnot. And it's basically me talking to them of how they got started into content creation. And I'm going to try this out with myself. So I'm going to be interviewing myself this episode. So, either way, how I got started into all of this, we got to go back a bit, like like to when I was a young lad, man, talking 4 or 5 years old. My first memory of gaming in general was when I was about 97. Remember, I vaguely remember this, and it was me, my brother, my sister. We were playing Super Nintendo. We were playing Yoshi's Island. Man, that's a throwback. Y'all don't remember that? You gotta look that game up. But I vaguely remember that one in our big old box TVs. Remember that thing? Things where you had to lift, takes 1,000 people just to lift it from one room to another. I'm exaggerating, of course, but we had that, and as time rolled on, I remember my growing up watching other games. Like prime example, I remember my sister playing a lot of Resident Evil at the time. I think which is Resident Evil, the first one, and luckily I have my copy still. And then from there, it went from Resident Evil 2, which was I thought it was kind of cool because it was double disc. You had to have the double disc and play them. And then on to that one was Resident Evil 3. Now, when I remember, was and I was a kid, so those games were kind of scary to me. But I was interested in them. I wasn't. I wasn't. I was like, okay, cool. I like these games. I got to play them a little bit when I was young. But as the times rolled on, 2000, 2001, 2002, I remember a certain game that just came out. It was on PlayStation 2. No, it was on PlayStation 2 and Xbox. But we had the Xbox at the time. And it was Grand Theft Auto 3. Man, I remember spending countless hours awake at night. Just we didn't get much done per se. We just kept running over people and ranking up the wanted levels. Oh man, those games were so much fun and everything. You can have so much fun with them. Eventually we beat it and everything. And then over the years, um, San Andreas came out, Vice City, then San Andreas, and all those games, man. Just growing up, remembering those memories, I'm like, man, it'll be fun to like do something else with them. But at the time, I didn't have a computer or anything. I had a laptop, but I didn't know of gaming online or anything until we hit '08. And that was when my older brother, had an Xbox 360, and I do vaguely remember a game called Gears of War. You know, that game in general, man, that takes me back. Just watching him and my cousin play those games. I played a couple, but I wasn't good like them. But we played, and further along, '08, '09, I remember Halo 3 coming out, and just watching him play it, and I played. I was back and forth. Brothers. They would, we would always play. Was back and forth and just playing that Halo 3. All those memories, man. They were just good memories. And then as we got on to 2011, 2010. So backstory: I was already into YouTube. I was watching YouTube at the time. So I didn't discover YouTube in 2010. I discovered it in like 2006, 2007. Anywho, uh, I remember stumbling upon, I think it was like 2011, 2010, I can't remember who it was, but they were gaming online. I'm like, that seems a lot of fun. You know, that does seem a lot of fun. At the time, I was barely doing, I was playing Call of Duty and stuff like that. But I really got into competitive Halo around 2012 ish and whatnot. Those memories. you know, playing late nights and making new friends, and I think that was insane. Good times. And that's around the time when I found Game Grumps, Aaron and Danny, or Eagle Raptor and Danny. Found Game Grumps, I found Markiplier, and they were gamers at the time. Uh, so I was just looking at their channel. I was like, oh man, thinking like one day. Hold on my phone. Thinking one day I can probably do that. You know, and like they were my inspiration. But at the time, I was still doing Halo and competitive stuff. So I couldn't really do nothing. I had a 360 and a laptop, so I didn't know how to do that at the time. So I kept it back in my head. 2012, 2013, 2014 passed. It wasn't until 2015, like mm, ending of 2014 to 2015. I was watching a video on my laptop, and my dad at the time was like, "Oh, what are you watching?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm watching uh, Game Grumps play." I think at the time it was one of the scary games. It was Outlast, Outcry, or something like that. I can't remember. And he's like, "Oh, that's neat, but like, could you do that if you could?" I'm like, "If I could, but they have like expensive equipment and all that stuff. All I have is uh, this laptop, Xbox 360." He's like, "What would you do? What would you need to do that stuff to get it started?" I'm like, maybe a PlayStation 4. So, I was like, oh, okay. So mid 2015, that's when it began. That's when he told me, let's go to Walmart real quick. We need to pick up some stuff. We go to Walmart and we pass the DVDs on. He's like, and he calls me over to the game. He's like, hey, this is what you need, right? I'm like, yeah? Question mark. I didn't say question mark out loud, but and he's like, and he calls the guy over. He's like, hey, we're gonna take one of these. And I'm looking. I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh my god, he's actually buying me a PlayStation 4. So I'm like thinking, like, does he want me to do what I think he wants me to do? And we buy it. I buy a game. I ended up buying Resident Evil Revelations 2 at the time. I don't have a copy of it right now. Oh, those sketchy. But I bought it, and he's like, "Remember that stuff that those guys you were watching do?" And I was like, "Yeah. Well, why don't you do it? Stream like content creation, streaming, like just do them." I'm like, "Okay, I do." So April 15th of 2015, that's when I started making content, and I was like, wow. So my current YouTube is actually off that, so there's not much on there, but it's gonna grow. You don't like didn't post much because whatever. So from April 15th to about September 2016, ish, I was streaming on YouTube. Took a small break in October. So all I did during that time period was play Resident Evil, and then they came out with the remakes, or the remake of the first one, I think. And I think some Call of Duty was in there as well. I can't remember what CODs, but I know it was Call of Duty. And I took a break, switched to Xbox because he ended up giving me an Xbox One at the time, and I remember that Christmas. Oh, like not Christmas, but Black Friday ish, November. My brother ended up getting me Battlefield 1, and I'm like, holy crap! Uh, that game just I took off of it. So from like November 2016 all the way from February 2018. Mind you, I streamed that game 8, 9 hours a night, 7 days a week, nonstop from that time period. Like I didn't have a job at the time, so I was like, okay. So I streamed on Twitch, and I made affiliate in I think it was November 17. I think that's when they just came out with the affiliate program, so it took me a little bit to get there, but I got there, and since then I've been affiliate on Twitch. So 20 or 2018, that time came around. I was playing still playing off Battlefield and playing Call of Duty at the time. Um, and I was thinking, I'm like, I need to go to the next level. I need to not just limit myself because I, at the time, in order to stream other systems, you would have to cut off. I'm sorry, other games. You would have to end stream, boot up that game, start stream again. So I figured I needed a computer. I needed a gaming PC. So uh, come November of that year, I ended up getting a computer. I still have it with me. I still use it, thing, and it's an iBuyPower i7 8700K or whatever. And at the time, I did not know this, but it had a 1080. It was broken. One fan was working, and I'm gonna tell you, I ran that broken fan from 2018 to 2021. I streamed Destiny 2. I streamed GTA. I streamed Resident Evil games on there. I streamed 7 Days to Die. I mean, I was still on console, but my PC was my go-to. That thing ran broken for 3 years, and in 2021 I ended up getting a 3070, which I still rock today. 3070s are still going, I think. But backtrack a little bit. Um, 20. So you know how the pandemic happened in 2020. All I had really, because we couldn't get out. All I had really was my computer and my my gaming consoles, PS4 and Xbox One S. I had a One S at the time. So I just made a bunch of content, posted it on YouTube, did a bunch of vlogs, posted them on YouTube as well. So jumping ahead, um, we got I ended up getting a PS5. Now, how that happened, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Uh, Naturally, I'm a streamer, right? So I posted. No, I was streaming at the time, and a friend of mine was like, you thinking about getting a PS5?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't have the money. Like, if those things are like 400, $500." He's like, "How come you don't put a goal up?" I'm like, mind you, I really don't like it when people give me money, no matter if they sub or they drop bits or they tip. I get uncomfortable with it. I don't know. It's I don't know. But so at the time, I'm thinking, why not? If it happens, if it happens. If it doesn't, or whatever. So I did it. Within 2 weeks, a friend popped in to stream. He was like, "Oh, you trying to get a PS5?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" Dude drops $200, and in my mind, I'm like, "Whoa, did that just happen?" And I tell him, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm helping you get your PS5." I'm like, "Oh," I'm like shaking. I'm like, "Well, I appreciate the tip, my friend." And then an hour later, boom, another $200. I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, uh, you just dropped 200, now you're dropping another 200?" And it's like, "Yeah, why?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we end that stream, whatever. Next day I start up stream, like 30 minutes in, I just see the bar go up another 100. I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, did we just make our goal for the PS5? And as soon as I said that, 5 seconds later, dude comes in. Yep, you did. I'm like, man, trying to make me cry on stream, which he actually shed a couple tears. And then he drops another 100. He's like, "Here, get a game." I'm like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "You son of a gun." So I think the first game I got one there was well, it came with God of War Ragnarok, so I streamed that. But I think the first game I got on there was AEW. I was like, "Yeah, I'm a wrestling guy." So whatever. Got AEW, streamed that for a while. I think this was in 2023. So streamed that. I was be popping between consoles and Xbox. I mean, consoles and PC. Ran all the way to 2024. Still doing that. Man, and here we are. What, May 2025? 10 years strong as of last month, last April 2015. 10 years strong, and all cause a push from my father. You know, He wanted me to do this, and said, "Okay, we'll do it." And here's a conversation we had between me and him. And I was at the time I was trying to look for work, and I was trying to pay bills and build the computer and up and everything. Months got gone by, like almost a year went by, and I applied for whatever. And he's saying maybe you're not cut out for that. And I look at him, I'm like, what do you mean? And he just looks me dead in the eye and is like, maybe you're not cut out to work, a job outside. You've been doing this for 8 years, 7 years. This was back a couple years back, and he says maybe just keep doing what you're doing on the streaming. You're getting money. People like what you put. Just keep doing it, man. I'm like, and that blew me away. I was like, whoa, like he believed in me. He still believes in me. But sadly, he ended up passing on last uh, 10 days before Christmas in 2024. So it it hurts still, but him knowing that I'm still doing this for him, made 10 years and everything. It just you know actually got something made for the 10-year anniversary. He ended up getting this made, and I really wish he was here to see it, but my own belt made and everything. Uh, I know he'd be proud of me. I mean, he is proud of me no matter what. So the X signifies 10 years. You know, has my name in it and everything. I wear it proudly. So why not? There. Yeah. You know, 10 years is a long time. And I show no way of stopping. No, maybe slowing down. Just not stopping. But yeah, I wanted to do this podcast. I'm going to see if I can get others involved in it as well. It's an idea I had for a while. I just never launched it because I'm too dang lazy. But we don't have a name for it, so I'm gonna wing it. But closing out and saying, if you have dreams, whether it be content creation, vlogging, wrestling, something, do it. Just go for it. Quoting someone, I don't know who said this, but I'm quoting them. You miss 100% of the shots you do not take. Take the shot. Even if you um, miss, you still took the shot. I know that doesn't sound right, but even if you miss, you still took the shot. Hopefully, it hits your target, and hopefully, it hits what you need to hit. But mm, just keep grinding. Don't give up whatever you is doing. If you're going to school for something, keep going. If you're just figuring out what to do, well, keep grinding. One day your passion will hit. Just like me, my passion was content creation and streaming, and I'm meeting new people and hanging with them on their streams and their discords and everything, just chatting, figuring out what other content we can do either solo or together. You know, just do what you got to do. But with that, I appreciate everybody who would listen to this podcast. I'm gonna beta test more things, so either it might be with visual or it might be audio. I will see what happens. Like I said, background, I kind of dig it because Guardian is supposed to be like a preacher or something. I don't know, some of that. But I'm gonna try to bring more people in, see if I can get some things rolling with it. And hey, who knows? Maybe within the end of the year, it can take off. See what happens. But until then, folks, this is Andrew signing off. Until the next stream, until the next podcast, wherever you are, appreciate y'all and I love y'all. See you next time.